That's what he said to me. He said, I'm going back in. I said, okay, no problem. But it was so interesting because if you didn't use all those guys at quarterback, you would be like, oh my goodness, who do we put in here now? My sophomore who plays JV? No. Another kid who plays quarterback is actually the running back.
Yeah, I think your offense, your scheme has to be based on disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be based on disaster, and it's got to be something you can rep up. And you may want to say control it, but I'd rather not control them with things. And we were fortunate this year that RJ came in and played against the lesser part of our schedule. I'm not knocking those guys if they listen to it, but they weren't the best teams on our schedule. And RJ came in and was successful for 3 games as a quarterback. I would like to have our quarterbacks on Yoon playing, but we didn't. But you have to be constantly prepared for that, and I do enjoy the imagination of the game, but it's generally, I don't see a big difference on the pro level. The big time college level looks like the same.
Right.
Division III has, they got 2 teams of the final 8 that are running the option, and everybody has their different spin on it, and it's just that I would like to see. I think you can win doing almost anything, right? And can that quarterback make those passes in the RPO? You can say they can practice it, yes, all right. But I think we need to know where all this started, and I think that's just so important. It's just so important. So, the long story longer, we start every offseason underneath the center.
I love it.
Always underneath the center. And I've told you that. A lot of that's because of quarterback's footwork. He's so lazy in the gun. But, I think it's more violent. Now, again, look, I'm a center. Like, we're in a gun, right? So, but we're underneath too. People say you're trying to do a lot of different things. Not really.
No.
Well, think about it like I think about it like this, okay? It's easier to start there and move backwards, right?
Correct.
I agree.
It's the same way as if you're a baseball player in the outfield. It's the opposite direction, but is it easier to come in and make a play on the ball, or is it easier for you to go backwards and make a play on the ball, right? So it's easier to come in. In football, from a quarterback position, it's easier to start underneath and then go backwards. You could always come back down. Right. You could always come back downhill, right? Okay, if you need to. But it's very hard if you start backwards, right, in the gun, and then try to come forward. Well, that's hard.
You know this, David. Your dad's a heck of a hurdle coach. Mike Urso is a really good hurdle coach. I guess I was solid at it, but
yeah, you were good.
Does anybody teach the kids an intermediate hurdle before they high hurdle? When was the last time you did an intermediate hurdle drill before you did high hurdle drill?
No one.
No one does, right? So you teach them how to hurdle, but
when they do try to do that, by the way, it's very difficult. Yeah. That's when you, like, when I would see a race, there were guys that were kind of, sometimes they take a guy that really just thought they could put him in the intermediates, just kind of teach him some, because he could run that a quarter or something. That works, but they're nowhere near as good a hurdler. So when you go against those guys or girls in that, look, the most important thing in the intermediate hurdles is how fast you run the 400, obviously.